Welcome to Becoming a Better You podcast. I am your host, Coach Paul. While doing over a decade in prison, I faced many ups and downs, including losing my mom and stepdad to cancer and struggling with my drug and alcohol addiction. It took 9 years in before I was tired of the way I was living and decided to turn my life around. And now it's my mission to help others do the same. For the past 3 years, I've built an elite online fitness platform to help others gain control over their mindset, health, and fitness so that they can overcome all of life's obstacles. Join me as we tackle difficult challenges, overcome obstacles, share our health and wellness goals, and motivate each other through the process. Together we can grow, transform, and become better. Are you ready? Then let's go. Yo, what's up? What's up? It's your boy, Coach Paul. Welcome you to our very first episode of Becoming a Better You podcast. First off, I want to take a moment to extend my utmost gratitude to you for listening to this episode. Whether you're a client of mine, a friend of mine, family member, or you've never even met me, but you're following me on social media, or you're not following me on social media and you just found this podcast, I want to let you know that I'm incredibly grateful for your time and for giving this opportunity for me to bring you some value, share some love, and hopefully motivate you to make an impact in the world around you. Today, our very first episode is being launched on my mom's birthday, April 27th. And I'm doing this episode in my mom's honor. She passed away going on 10 years ago. I did 10 years in prison. And so in my remembrance of the 10 years I did and the 10 years since her passing, this first episode, the launch of this podcast, is in her honor. See, my mom was an amazing human being. She struggled with drugs and alcohol throughout most of my childhood. I remember her coming home drunk, high, fighting with my dad. They'd be locked in the room, arguing, fighting, screaming, yelling, throwing things, breaking things. I remember being a scared child. I remember thinking that my mom didn't love me because she wouldn't stop using drugs. And I remember being angry with her for a very long time. Angry with her because she wouldn't stop using drugs. Angry with her because she didn't love me. Angry with her because those things were more important than me to her. It wasn't until I struggled with my own addiction to drugs and alcohol, my own anger issues, that I started to realize that sometimes when that addiction has its grasp on you, you're not in control no more. And when I was about 14 years old, my mom changed her ways. She changed her life. She got clean. She got her life together, and she got us back. On October 31st, which we now call Gotcha Day, my mom got us back. She became a nurse. She went from sharing an apartment with a friend where it would be me, her, and my brother in one room, sharing this room in not the greatest of neighborhoods, to moving us to a 2-bedroom apartment. Once again, not the greatest of neighborhoods, but it's the best she could do. And I remember her working hours and hours and hours just to make sure we had everything we wanted, everything we needed. And although by 15 years old, my drug addiction had taken hold of me, my criminal behavior had taken hold of me, and incarceration became part of my story, my mom loved me through it all. She supported me through it all. Whenever I struggled, my mom was the only one who was always constantly there. She would come and visit me in juvenile hall. She would send me magazines and send me books in juvenile hall. She got me into some rehabs throughout different stints in my life when I was struggling. She would visit me in jail. She visited me in prison. She sent me money in prison. Man, I was up in a prison in Susanville, and she would fly to Reno, rent a car, drive in, visit me, spend the weekend at a hotel, spend money that she truly did not have. But she did it all to support me, to guide me, and to love me. And now I wake up every single morning with a goal to make an incredibly huge impact in the world in her honor. See, I have a focus and a purpose in the world to help as many parents and as many children as I possibly can to make sure that the children can grow into who they're supposed to be and not what society or circumstances will force them to be. I want to save as many children. I want to love as many children. I want to make a huge impact on as many children as I can so that they do not have to see or go through what I went through as a child, as a teen, as an adult. And it's why I work with children. It's why I work with parents, because if I can save the parents, if I can help the parents, I can help the children too. For every parent that works with me, that gets healthier, that changes their mindset, that reflects in their household, that reflects on the relationship with their family members, that reflects into the lives of their children, and they're able to set a better example for their children, like the example my mom set me. And my mom struggled with her drug addiction for so long, and she finally was able to climb her way out of it. And yes, she had a few slips and falls and relapses from time to time, but in the end, my mom passed away, clean and sober, 100%, and she passed away with a smile on her face. She passed away knowing she had made a difference in the world. She passed away knowing that what she did was right in the world. And I wake up every morning aiming to do the same thing, to make sure that my next action, my next step, the things that I do are beneficial to me becoming a better me so that I can help others become better as well. Because my goal is to help you become a better you. It's why the name of this podcast is Becoming a Better You, because it's not about being better than anyone else but yourself. My mom understood that. My mom understood that she didn't have to be better than anyone else. She just had to keep working towards being better herself. And she worked real hard on that. And she stayed focused on that. And she did exactly what she needed to do to ensure she could be successful. And she died with a smile on her face. And in her honor, this podcast, my fitness business, my coaching business, everything I do it in her honor. I do it to support the peace and love. Let me tell you a little story. When I was incarcerated, my mom would send me cards. My mom would send me letters. She's the only one that consistently wrote me while I was locked up. She sent me these cards. She sent me these letters, and she signed them off peace and love. Peace and love. Every card my mom sent me while incarcerated said peace and love at the end of it. And now that's a part of what I do. I lived a life of hatred and violence and anger and dereliction and addiction and incarceration. And I did not live a happy life for a good portion of my life. And today I focus on peace and love in all my actions. Today I focus on spreading peace and love to the world around me. Today I aim to make an impact on the world full of peace and love. My logo has a heart with a peace symbol in it, right? I've got peace and love on the wall in my gym. I've got peace and love tattooed on my leg. And it's just all about spreading that peace and love and spreading a positive message to the world. I want to help as many kids. I want to help as many parents. I want to help as many people as I possibly can not have to go through the struggles, the trials, and the tribulations that I went through. Now, this is my first episode, and I'm incredibly grateful that you joined us on today's episode. Moving forward with this podcast, I will be sharing more pieces of my story. I will be sharing more valuable information. I will be bringing on clients and friends and change makers and those making a positive impact on the world. I will be bringing them on this podcast and interviewing them and finding out how they are becoming better themselves, how they are helping other people become better. Because in the end, it's all about becoming a better you. So thank you for joining us on this very first episode of Becoming a Better You podcast. And I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you for tuning in to the Becoming a Better You podcast. If you found value in today's episode, I'd love it if you'd share this podcast with someone you care about. If you appreciate the message I'm sharing, please give me a quick review and 5-star rating. This helps to spread the message further. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, _coach_Paul. With that being said, peace and love to all. I will catch you on the next episode.